Welcome everyone to a casted game of Age of Empires 4, and today spawning in the southwest corner of the map playing in yellow, we've got Beastyqt playing as the Jeanne faction. And his opponent in the north corner of the map playing in green, we've got Elyo playing as the Byzantines. Welcome everyone to a casted game of Age of Empires 4 on Dry Arabia featuring, well, 2 of the civilizations as part of the New Sultan's Ascend DLC. And speaking of new, I see that subs coming in. Thank you Twiffs, I appreciate it. If you guys don't know, I am streaming on Twitch these days a lot, so feel free to check it out on the live stream, like maybe drop a follow and catch me next time. I'll drop a link in the video description. But today, we're going to be focusing on what is going to be an interesting matchup. Jeanne d'Arc, probably held as one of the strongest civilizations out of the new ones. The Byzantines maybe haven't been seen to be as strong, but I would say that actually, in the last week or so, things have been raring up for this civilization. I think generally, in many ways, it's a very strong civilization for the late game. Primarily because the eco can be sustained a lot with olive oil, and the military can be, in fact. And speaking of eco, it's going to be the early cisterns. 3 cisterns most likely in the Dark Age. It's a very common build that we see out of the Byzantines at the moment. Regardless of their strategy, regardless whether they go for the winery, whether they go for the hippodrome, you name it, they can do it with the 3 cisterns. Really gets the eco rocking and rolling, and the reason for that is because it will be getting the villagers to gather faster, of course. You've got an additional 5% at the start of water level 1, but it increases by 5% in each water level that you get access to. Now, with the matchup against Jeanne d'Arc, the Byzantines certainly will have to be careful. They won't have the liberty to just boom away, because early aggression is certainly what, Jeanne d'Arc does. It's going to be going, wait a minute. Okay, this is not something we see often. It's going to be this Chamber of Commerce coming out for Beasty. That is actually a big surprise. That is not something you see very often. Often it's, it's the School of Cavalry, isn't it? We know that the Jeanne d'Arc faction, the French, go for the School of Cavalry. In fact, the Chamber of Commerce, if you don't even know what it is, because I think a lot of you, a lot of people, if you're new to Age of Empires, you may not even know what it is. Barely ever see it. But it's essentially a trading landmark. You get free traders for every research that you get for the Jeanne d'Arc faction. So it's going to be a trading game here for Beasty, which is not a bad idea because the trade post is pretty far out. I'll be giving a good trade route now. It would be natural to get a market here down in the corner. It's something that, well, Elyo will need to scout out. It's going to be opening up with the Imperial Hippodrome. Obviously expecting early aggression from Jeanne d'Arc, so probably looking to actually maybe try and deal with that a little bit with some units. Now, actually, the Imperial Hippodrome is one of my favorite landmarks in the new DLC because it offers something for the Byzantines that actually, the other landmark just can't give. It gives a triumph ability. I think it's incredibly strong in the late game even, if you do go for, cavalry, of course. Now, the Grand Winery is definitely a nice landmark for the Byzantines, and it's quite suited to going to the late game in some ways. But if you go to the super ultra late game, where you're trading or you've got plenty of olive groves, sometimes the extra 60% of olive oil doesn't necessarily help you that much more than, say, the Triumph ability will, because you can't get the Triumph ability doing anything else. In any case, it definitely depends on the matchup, and the Grand Winery definitely has its place. It gives you a very nice power spike in the early Imperial Age, when actually resources isn't all that favorable, and you do want to get those mercenaries out onto the field. You see Wheelbarrow coming in for BC. That will give him a free trader from the Chamber of Commerce. And, well, it's going to be an interesting match, that's for sure. Because I don't think we'll ever see this very often. It's the first time we're seeing it. And, well, Jeanne d'Arc is building that landmark, and she will be having a journey of a hero. Lots of choices to be made. Could become a hunter, could become a markswoman. We'll have to see whether she starts wielding a sword or a bow. She will actually be building this pretty fast. She does have a 33% construction speed boost, and she does share that with her comrades in level 2. Does have lots of abilities for her, of course. Got Divine Restoration, Holy Wrath potentially, and able to get some champions on the field if she gets that far. The Byzantines opening up with a horseman going out onto the field now. And I wonder whether he'll get an early Expilatores, and that's exactly what's happening. So it's a really nice upgrade. It's going to be giving the horsemen an extra 2+ damage against workers, but also it'll be giving them a reward of 20 for every villager they kill. So if they can get them, it's definitely going to be nice. Right, opening up with the stable now is Beasty. Going to be getting that knight early on, I would have thought. And it's starting to trade, almost. Trying to get the market up, but Elyo spots that. And slowly going to start torching this down. And it's going to be a bit annoying. It's going to kill the sheep there, Beasty, just to add to the misery for Elyo. And the thing is, it depends on how much scouting Elyo's got, right? To be fair, Elyo's got pretty decent scouting, so it's kind of okay. Although, I say that, but actually he doesn't know where the gold is, doesn't know where the wood line is. It's kind of tricky, right? Because he's sending horsemen around, and maybe he's going to send the horsemen to try and kill that village. Does get the extra 20 gold, which is nice. Maybe looking to just torch down the trade post for now, and maybe relying on that rather than doing early damage on villagers. Could be making some trade routes. 27 gold for the first trip, which is better than nothing, but it's not ideal. Wants to extend that, essentially, at the bottom. Has got water level 3 as well, which is going to be very nice. Going to be increasing that water level and that village gathering rate by 15% now on these villages. And not only that, we'll be increasing the production speed as well, by the way. I like that about the Byzantine system network. It not only scales your economy, but it scales your production capabilities. Going to be sniping another villager, and we'll get the extra 20 gold. Jeanne d'Arc going to try and push that away. She has turned into melee mode, wielding her massive sword, and how is she carrying that? Holy moly. Charging with the knight, but the horseman will get away, of course. Got the faster movement speed, unless they turn around and try and fight like that. That is not ideal, and has burnt down that market, so wood investment early on for Beasty has gone down the drain, and I gotta say, I mean, it's a good opening here for Elyo. Elyo's going to be looking to make Beasty pay for this opening. But if Beasty can get trade online, of course, trade is incredibly strong, and something the Byzantines have to be wary of. Could be getting the mercenary house, and we'll be getting the contract. The Western mercenary contract, giving access to the longbowman, the Landsknechte, and also the Streltsy in the late game if it gets there. We shall see. A blacksmith opening for BC. Going to be getting that nice bloomery for free. The attack upgrade, of course, melee attack upgrade for the cavalry. That is slowly starting to make its way out on the map. And true Beasty style is walling up to keep the trade alive. And Byzantines are going to try and make them pay with the movement speed they have with the horsemen. But with 3 knights there, it might be a bit tricky, especially with Jeanne d'Arc. She might push this back. Of course, has the Holy Wrath ability to be able to deploy. But we see the triumph that they're coming in for the Byzantines, helping out the horsemen, keeping them alive. And does lose one horseman. That 12 HP, or XP rather, comes out for Jeanne d'Arc. And it's got to be careful here, Elyo, not to give away too much XP. That's kind of the last thing you want to do. If you really want to counter the Jeanne d'Arc faction, you don't want to take unnecessary engagements. And that was kind of almost unnecessary for Elyo. And we'll be healing up those horsemen, but gave away some valuable XP. Now, as Elyo does back away, what does Elyo look to do? Maybe a second town center? Maybe trade themselves, because ultimately, you know, the Byzantines, they do get olive oil from trade. It could be an option. Looks like at the moment, staying on just one town center. Working his way from there. Trying to put some pressure on if he can. Trying to punish that trade. Now he's looking to go to the west, which is probably a smart idea to try and cut off some of the traders. Whilst he does that, I'd like to say a very big thank you for everyone supporting the channel, whether it be on YouTube or Twitch. It's very much appreciated. And we see actually, going to be getting at least 1 or 2 traders, which is nice. Now, I wonder whether the explorator is only for villagers or if it's traders as well. So actually killing traders gives you 20 gold. This is brutal actually, because like, yeah, sure, Beasty's getting trade, but if he loses traders, that's going to be a nice bit of boosting for the income for the Byzantines. And obviously we don't really see trading happening this much on a 1v1 game. And we're seeing it clear now how you're getting the extra gold. Definitely going to be nice for Elyo. Getting a 3rd trader of the game, and Beasty kind of, I mean, it's kind of a struggling situation, right? Has had a bit of gold income with some of the trade trips. Setting one of the horsemen just to finish that off and peeling the others away. Jeanne d'Arc going to chase. I think Elyo now needs to just back off, right? He's done the job he needed to do. Got some eco kills and probably looking to scale the economy as well behind this. Water level 4, which I like. I would love to see that water level 5 come in soon too. Getting the stone to get that. Walling up on the west side. And getting some longbowmen as well, which will be adding to the fight soon. Getting the first attack melee upgrade from the blacksmith is Ellie. I think this might be Eliona, by the way. I'm tempted to just say Eliona, but I don't know. It sounds easier to say than Elyo. But without that confirmation, we'll have to stay with Elyo for now. But there's a couple of knights coming out. Beasty. He's actually got quite a decent army. A couple of spearmen, which will be good. The spearmen going to push... Well, Limitane, I should say. Limitane, need to be careful protecting that wood line. Does have the walls up nicely and securely. But I gotta say, Elyo does have to pressure the issue, right? You can never let trading be unpunished. Speaking about being punished, well, Beasty trying to punish that forward gold. It's kind of rough for Elyo, the spawn, right? Because like, if there's any indication going to the castle age, getting gold is going to be tricky. Now Beasty is looking to get those walls up and fully wall his trade route, which now should be extended. It is indeed. And that trade now going to be getting 69 gold. It's going to be very nice for Jeanne d'Arc. Now I think actually, now we don't see that all that often, so I'm not 100% sure, but I believe there's a technology in the Imperial Age for Jeanne d'Arc faction where they actually get gold every 6 seconds. Here we go. Yeah, active traders generate 1 gold every 6 seconds, but it is in the Imperial Age. And it's pretty expensive as well, to be fair. 700 resources. But if you've got a booming trade economy, it could potentially be worth it. Bit of an engagement on the west side of the map. Nice chasing. Horsemen trying to get some value. Get up and close to the trade route as they can. But the knight numbers are looking kind of scary here, I've got to say. See, a lot of that would be funded by some of the trade. And Beasty got a decent number on the field. It's kind of looking a bit tricky here for elyo, because it's got a lot of limitane and longbowmen, but they're not the most mobile units in the world, and Beasty behind this is going to go to the castle age with the guild hall. It's going to make things worse here for elyo. Elyo looking to go to the castle age themselves. But as you know, we're struggling on gold for quite some time because Beasty just punished that. And I think it's really smart played by Beasty, right? He's got the mobility. He knows that for elyo to go to the castle age to really challenge him, well, he'd need gold, and that's what he's going to look to deny now, once again. But elyo does have some army. Limitane not really in position, though. He needs to get closer. Might lose some villagers here if he's not careful. Does pull the villagers back, but he should be just mining this gold, to be fair. There it is. Limitane do get in position now. That's a bit of idle time caused. But really struggling on the gold count. And Beasty get into that castle age pretty soon. Those upgrades are going to be coming in pretty soon as well. See, 48 economy units, because of the trade, of course. Got 9 so far, scaling well, nicely. Won't want to take that fight there, elyo. Does back away. Limitane are chasing, but of course they can only chase so fast. Does lose 1 horseman already. The knights don't take the bait there for Beasty. Kind of expected, but he's trying to put a bit of pressure. Now what this allows Beasty to do is maybe to get some control of those relics that are on the map. It's up to the castle age now. We'll see a monastery out of this. Not just yet, focusing on the military for now. It's just wary of the fact that elyo does have a decent number of military units, 42. That's not to be overlooked and ignored. It is going to be the Golden Horn Tower for the Byzantines, a very popular landmark to get to the castle age. In fact, I haven't even really seen the other one being used all that often. But the Golden Horn Tower being rushed up with 21 villagers. Once they get their quick time, we'll be getting some of those free mercenary units under the influence of the system. We'll make them come out faster as well. Nice bit of a bonus for the Byzantines in the castle age. But of course, it's not like a massive quick time power spike, which maybe he might need if he's going to take on the veteran Royal Knights. These guys are pretty tanky. Might be looking to take some trades against the feudal age army. That's a concern for elyo. Now that he's got to the castle age just now, Beasty might look to just put a pressure, but he doesn't necessarily need to, right? He doesn't necessarily need to dictate a fight to happen right now. He's got trade, right? So he's probably quite happy with just scaling that economy. And if he goes to the late game, he'll get there in a stronger position. Okay, maybe just harass with a couple of nice... Oh, that's a big... oh my god, elyo. Elyo, that's going to be just... Come on. That's bad. That's bad. There's going to be so many dead villagers. Beasty going to get a couple at least. Ouch. That's an awkward spot, right? Because he doesn't have the limitane there. That was his forward position. There's a couple of villagers there that's going to need to protect as well. Does send a couple of horsemen, but not sure it's going to be enough. The limitane are never really going to... Oh, they do get an engagement. Uses the charge there, Beasty. I wasn't expecting to fight that. He did. He lost a knight. Longbowmen firing in the back line, but of course it is just still hardened limitane rather than... Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is what it is. Like, he's going to have to try and push that back as well as he can. Dr. Dabson, I give you a voice of wave for sure. It's as a running joke in chat. Well, Jeanne does come in with the man-at-arms. Does use the Holy Wrath ability. And those horsemen for the Byzantines going to try and chase that down. I mean, ultimately at this point does have some crossbows which will pack a punch. But he needs to push those away, and probably will. I mean, if he can kill Jeanne d'Arc, that'll be ideal. But Holy Restoration comes out, or Divine Restoration comes out. And Jeanne does go down. But of course, I suspect Beasty will invest in just re-getting her very, very quickly. Just spend the gold, and it's not like he's struggling with gold. at least with the income. It should be coming in pretty fast. I mean, 15 traders. I was kind of expecting more than 234 gold per minute. Gotta say. Limitani need to stick with those villagers though, because the mobility for the knights might just mean they might dive on that. I mean, I don't know if there's enough here. Because there's villagers on the gold he needs to protect as well. The longbow kind of caught. And he's going to get quite a few kills there. Does back away before the Limitani get critical damage. On the west side. The man-at-arms have been taken care of. And I feel like maybe Elyo is looking to try and pressurize the trade now once again. Kind of has to. So now it's going to go around the back just to see what value they can get. There's not much there in terms of economy, to be fair. Oh, one man-at-arms did peel away there for Beasty. And will be attacking those berries. That's really unfortunate. Moving away 12 villagers just for the sake of one man-at-arms. In fact, you have to do that. But the fact that he has to is kind of bad. A lot of idle time caused by that. Does have wheelbarrow, but still. So those villagers will move quick time. But the fact that they're not getting resources is not great. But speaking about not getting resources, these traders aren't going to be getting much gold. The ones that fall, at least. Jeanne has respawned with her man-at-arms. She's going to lead the way. I'm not sure it's a great fight for the French or the Jeanne d'Arc faction, to be fair. Quite a few units. Maybe a couple of crossbows are sprinkled in as well. In the southeast, going out to berries, or the deer camp rather, and it looks like going out to that boar. It's been a great bit of food. But here's the main fight. Jeanne d'Arc going to be leading that charge. And she does lose her life though. Longbowman and sniper in the end, and going to lose a couple of traders. This is a good push here by Elyo. Definitely got a large amount of military. 58. And this is like kind of the power spike I was talking about with the Byzantines that I really enjoyed watching. The water level being at water level 4 or 5 at this point possibly. It really increases that production capability. Conscriptio is really nice at this point. It's at water level 4, so it will be 80% on each of the production buildings. And obviously scaling with that economy boost with the village gather rate. It really feeds into each other synergistically. And as you can see, Elyo starting to make Beasty pay for that little bit of a boom. But with the 72 eco units, he's going to be fine now. He's trading on the other trade post. It's a nice bit of detail, actually. It's really nice having that corner market. Because we'll still be getting a decent amount of gold. 44. Could be better, but it's better than nothing, right? And Elyo needs to address that situation, because there's actually a lot of economy here on this right side, which is outside of the protection of the walls. But Elyo at the moment, with the static kind of army, the infantry army, isn't able to get that particularly fast. And with the defender's advantage, these units coming out for Beasty, he might punish that and push that back. A couple of Lansknechte added in. He can hang around the market. He I think is aware that there's a situation going on with the trade. But this is a fight that Beasty will certainly win, especially if he gazes straight up in a fight. And there is the Holy Wrath ability from Jeanne d'Arc. She does ride out of there, not to lose her life once again. A couple of longbowmen for the Byzantine, trying to take out the ranged units at the back. But there's man-at-arms going to shred whatever the meat shield is in front of it, because there's not very much. Mostly Limitane, and that's going to go down for Elyo. Does have some units on the right side. Doesn't spot the villagers. Oh no, it's a massive missed opportunity there. And there's trade too, and Elyo trying to burn through, and maybe macroing behind. Anyway, does break through in the end. And oh, Beasty stopped with the villagers for a second, but does manage to get out of there and has to take a fight against man-at-arms. This is kind of tricky. Elyo does need a couple more crossbowmen. Limitane going to try their best to tank on the front lines. Does have a Lansknechte in there. Only one. Longbowmen are pretty redundant at this point, I think, and well, it should be a decent fight if the crossbows can get enough damage output, but they're being slain by those man-at-arms, and Jeanne d'Arc uses her Holy Wrath ability again. Crossbows coming out for Beasty as well, which makes it very tricky for Elyo, because there's no heavily armored units for Elyo, but it means that he can't really tech into it because of the crossbows or the arbaletier coming out for Jeanne d'Arc. Actually, overall, Elyo might be able to take a couple of traders on the way out, but probably won't be able to win this fight long term. Of course, the defender's advantage. Units are coming out. Does give him a bit of map control now, at least to get his resources on the map. But trade is still running, and that's kind of an issue that Elyo needs to address, because it's not something you want Beasty to get away with. He's now trading to the other trade post once again. I'd love to see Elyo look to maybe get some static defenses, which actually now Beasty's going to do with a keep. And that makes things a little bit tricky for Elyo now to punish the trade, at least on the west side. It gives him a lot of security here, Beasty. Thank you, Zathras. I appreciate it. For the bits once again. That's very, very kind of you. We do see a counter-effect on the field, which is a bit tricky because, I mean, you know, the arbaletier are going to rip through that, and it's a very expensive unit, so it's a tricky because the Byzantines would love to be able to get these units. With the tech switch to Arbaletier for Jeanne d'Arc, it makes it a lot more difficult. Does get one in sneakily. Wait a minute. What? What is going on? Had an ability to get a villager or two there, but missed the opportunity. And he's getting a keep on the front line as well. With the guild hall, I would imagine. Let's take a look at that, actually. Is it the guild hall? Yeah, it is toggled to stone. This game is going to become very tricky for Elyo because, you know, trade is up and running. Static defenses are there for Beasty. Really well set up for the late game. Where does Elyo go from here? Massive numbers for Beasty. Starting to build up a little bit. Of course, Elyo does still have the better military numbers, but when you're trying to press and be attacking, and you don't have the defender's advantage, in fact, you're going against that, it makes it tricky. Oh, needs to be focusing here. Needs to focus on the army, not that mining camp. Might look to use the trample damage here. Does use the trample damage coming from the cataphracts, but they go down really fast to the Arbaletier. A couple more coming from the north. They might get a bit of a melee damage on them, which is kind of good, but I'm not sure. I mean, Jeanne d'Arc might die. Does use the Holy Restoration before she does. And that'll certainly help the Jeanne d'Arc faction units to stay alive for that much longer. Well, might clean this up, actually, to be fair, Elyo. The cataphracts soaking up a decent amount of the Arbaletier fire, but they do go down. The longbowmen not doing what they need to do. They're focusing on that mining camp. Landscanesh are going to be riding in and running in to try and sweep up a lot of those units if they can, but blocked out by the walls. And Beasty does that so well. Protects his economy with those static defenses. Very cheap investment considering what they offer you. And the traders back up to 69 gold per trip. Elyo behind this doesn't still have that water level 5, which is unfortunate, but does have that second town center, so we'll be scaling the economy nicely, and it's not too terribly far behind in terms of eco units. Could have been worse, of course, but that second town center definitely needed to be able to continue this fight. And the good thing is for Elyo is a lot of the traders are coming through to this market position, and it's actually what you want. If you want to be denying trade completely, you want to go to the actual market position, because otherwise, if you go to the neutral trade post, the traders can always go to the other trade post. But with this positioning here, it's kind of good for Elyo. Needs to be careful not to lose too many units versus the Jeanne d'Arc hero unit. Doesn't have the Holy Wrath ability just yet. Quite a few longbowmen trying to snipe out some of the Arbaletier if they can. In addition to the horsemen, I think this is oh, that's Jeanne's riders actually. I don't think I've seen these before. It's nice to see them in play now. Doesn't use the palings for the longbows. We'll be losing them. Jeanne d'Arc getting valuable XP out of this. This is a rough situation though, because I gotta say, like, especially with Jeanne d'Arc, if you want to trade, like, if you want to trade against them, it's difficult. If you don't win the fight and kill her, she gets XP. And ultimately, you want to be trying to engage at all times to try and deny as much of the trade as possible. But if you do that and you're not completely winning, then Jeanne d'Arc just gets stronger. Jeanne d'Arc just about to move out again. And moving out to the center of the map now, we're heading to that 25th minute mark where you kind of expect players to need to go to the middle map for gold. And that's usually the case if they're not trading, which Beasty of course is. 18 traders remain, but it is coming back out to the boar. Cheekily getting some wood here. Okay, we're getting a decent amount of resources on the map, which Elyo doesn't spot. Getting some good vision, but you can just see how Beasty plays it so slowly, methodically, getting those static defenses, just extending the base as time goes on, just to secure those critical resources and barely lose his villagers. I mean, if you look at the eco count, I mean, to be fair, it has lost 22 workers, but a lot of that probably was the trade. Did lose a couple in the early game, of course, when he wasn't walled up. It's not getting Ordnance Company, getting the consecrated buildings to also reduce cost in wood and gold. That's actually a really nice power spike, by the way, because, you know, if you reduce both gold and wood, and don't forget it's already on food, it's just incredibly strong at pumping out units. And we talked about conscriptio for the Byzantines and how strong that can be with the water level. Well, there's one thing increasing the rate of production, but there's another thing reducing the cost of these units for Jeanne d'Arc. Going to ride around the back with the Jeanne's riders. 8 of them. But Elyo doing pretty well to keep up with the economy. Has extended to a 3rd town center as well. And I mean, super late game. The Byzantines, I would say, actually are incredibly strong for the late game because of the olive oil, but also because of the ability to mass produce very quickly with water level 5 if he ever gets there. But not only that, the population efficiency in terms of the villager gathering rates, like 25% extra, it's pretty decent. Does unlock the potential to need or require less villagers to sustain an economy. Frees up some space for military, which of course Jeanne doesn't necessarily have, although in some ways with the reduced cost of those units, got to factor that in as well. Going to be getting some stone walls just to protect the southeast area. We'll be protecting that gold vein, which is all important. Don't forget the super late game, the guild hall could also be toggled to gold if it's necessary, if the trade isn't running as well as it is, which it's running pretty well, I've got to say. Up to 25 at the moment. And now getting teardrop shields. We're going to be increasing the armor of the cataphracts. Movement of Limitane as well. Has a semi-decent olive oil transition. Or olive grove transition, I should say. That will be unlocking the potential to get those mercenaries. But Beasty possibly thinking about going to the Imperial Age soon. He's got plenty of food coming in. Plenty of gold soon as well. I'm curious that obviously Relics has been a situation. Beasty getting to that castle age a lot quicker. Did manage to scoop up 3 of them. 1 more coming in. And Elyo. Yet to pick one up. Oh, Jeanne's riders just about to ride in on that, but the outpost will give the extra vision. Elyo will be safe for now on that gold, but this is a target point, right? Beasty understands now this is where the gold is coming in. And it immediately moves over to those positions. Like the outposts don't have the emplacements in, just been built. Trying to get the mangonel emplacement if they can. Elyo going to try and attack against this, but a lot of those man-at-arms shielding that front line. Jeanne riders trying to get a scoop around, and they will. They're going to collapse on those ranged units, and that's terrible for Elyo. There's no meat shield in front of them. Jeanne uses the Holy Wrath ability, and that's going to be tricky for Elyo to back this up. And he does have the defender's advantage. New units coming in, but it's been kind of overrun, and Jeanne is going to be winning that fight for sure. Gets another 3 champions. Oh wait, was that the riders? It might have been the riders. In any case, gets valuable XP by winning this fight very easily. And mangonel emplacement does come in the outpost at a decent time. We'll be taking out a lot of the arbaletier out. But at this point, Beasty might just ride in. Has got a significant military lead. 32, and there it is, ladies and gentlemen. The Byzantines, they unfortunately crumble to Jeanne d'Arc and the Chamber of Commerce. Beastyqt changing the meta, going for something different on Dry Arabia. Hope you guys enjoyed the casted game. Take care, and see you next time.